My recommendation. Before you listen to my explanation for this copy over here, go and read the copy that's lower, just below. Read it in its entirety. Don't worry about the explanations, and I'll give you a walkthrough for all the choices that we made, at least the important ones. And then you can, of course, go back and you can read it again, because I think this is really gets to the heart of the matter, and I think this is what makes our process so effective, is how we construct the copy. You see, for us, it's not just about constructing a sales page and then presenting that sales pitch to the buyer. It's about constructing all of the fundamental building blocks of the sales page. It's like a legal case. The truth is a specific thing, but how that truth is presented, in what sequence it's presented, what argument is made first, and then what supporting argument is made second, what evidence is presented third, all of these things have to be perfectly organized for maximum effectiveness, right? And so I'm going to now talk about all the choices that we made. I'm assuming you've read the description in the screenshot, and then we can discuss it. All right. So the first thing we are trying to do is, again, this is designed for people that are new to this page, don't know everything there is to know about this brand. And so over here, we are trying to essentially help the user visualize their lives without pain, talking about their grandkids, talking about activities like jogging and golfing. We're trying to use a visualization technique to kind of relate to the future state they're aspiring for. And I'm just going to talk about the underlying sections because those are the most important ones. So here we're trying to draw, point number two, we're trying to draw contrast with prescription medication, TENS machines, back rollers that they may have either tried or they probably don't even want to try. So we're trying to draw a contrast. And then they never work. And then we're saying, why is this again? Why is that? Is a very specific copy technique to get the user to continue reading. One of the things that we want to do is make sure that the reader reads all the way through. And this is a pretty long page. And so it's really important that we give them those nudges, what we call seeds of curiosity, to want to continue reading. Now, here we're talking about another problem, which is that they only temporarily mask the pain, which is something that most people with back pain relate to. And these people are not looking for that. So we're just saying that, like those products are not designed to address the root cause of your lower back pain, which is why that pain always returns. So again, just drawing a contrast from how we do it. And again, over here, we're dramatizing that point by saying previously touted solutions are more like putting lipstick on a pig. You dress it up, but deep down, you know how that goes. So again, just kind of further dramatizing that point. That's our biggest enemy, is the fact that the pain keeps on coming back. Now, this is a really interesting choice we've made over here. This is something we do very regularly for all the copy that we are writing, is that we add these what we call feedback beacons to know if this point is resonating with the buyer. And the reality is that, one way to measure that effectiveness is to look at the overall conversion rates, but that will hide which parts of my sales pitch are working or not. So this whole element where we've dramatized the contrast between what we do and what competing products do is a very specific selling angle. We may have presented this in a way that totally didn't work. And so by looking at the proportional yes-no responses, I know if this is where the problem was. Where do we lose the buyer? So of course I can look at the overall conversion rates, and we do, but we want to also triangulate to understand specifically where our selling started breaking down. And if we got data that said, a lot of people are clicking no relative to yes, because we're looking at the proportionality, then we know that we need to come back and rework this section. So you'll notice this repeated several times in our sales pitch. So let's get back. All right. Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to really demonstrate expertise. So we demonstrate, this is a medical product, so we're demonstrating expertise by talking about the science behind it. So in 2017, we began exploring new technology. We're talking about this NMES technology. And again, we're using this term too good to be true because this is one of the things that the buyer is thinking about, is that, this is yet another this is yet another product that will not solve my problems. And so we're addressing that upfront by saying that this is how we felt too. And then, of course, we'd say we dug in, and over the next 2 years, we completed extensive due diligence testing and clinical development to maximize the effectiveness. So we're talking about how we overcame this challenge. And then we're talking about some fundamental things that we learned along the way. Like, for example, 97% of back pain is caused by musculoskeletal issues. And here again, we're trying to demonstrate our expertise. And then we talk about emphasis, again, this is, emphasizing that point on healing. What else do we have? Let me see. One of the things. So again, we're again continuing to demonstrate expertise. And then again, here we are adding this little thing that gets the reader to want to continue reading. Because one of the things that I know as a copywriter is that if I can get the reader to read all the way through, statistically speaking, my likelihood of converting this buyer is much, much higher. I mean, think back to how many times have you bought something by only reading half the description, right? It almost never happens. So we want to get this reader to continue reading it, because the more they read, the more they'll understand how our product is different, the more they'll start resonating with what our product does, the more they'll understand what the product does, and the higher the likelihood they'll buy. So let's get back. Again, here we are kind of talking about this long-term pain, long-term relief idea. And we're again just further dramatizing how our product is different, our point of view over here. And all of these, I'm not going to cover all of these points. So what I would say is that if you want to really understand the choice that led to, how we led to these copy choices, go and read the description in the bottom. I do want to actually show you something really quick, which is this little element. So we've got the feedback beacons. I should actually show you how this works. If you click on yes, we say thank you for your feedback. So we've collected data from the buyer, and we actually have this question here as well, right? So we'll get to that. But here's the thing I want to show you. So this is a little reveal button. It's kind of subtle. It's designed not to be seen up front, but when you click on it, it actually answers the question. And I should actually refresh this real quick so you can see what I mean. So the idea here is that it says, additionally, with improved lower back health, you will experience, and we kind of left it midstream. So the user is not forced to, but it has an option to click on reveal. It creates a dramatic effect. But why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want the user that for two reasons. One is for the dramatic effect, but the other is because I want my reader to interact with me. Because the more they interact with me, the more the idea is kind of embedding in their brain. And so when you click on reveal, it says, additionally, with improved lower back health, you will experience reveal, and then it says, lasting relief from back pain, leg pain, sciatica, hip pain, joint pain, and muscle spasms. So again, we're answering the question in a very interesting way. So, okay. So again, we've got a feedback beacon over here. We want to know if this video worked. So again, that gives us data. And I think we can skip some of these. So again, here we're talking about helping the user visualize their life without back pain. We're dramatizing experience over here by talking about we've engineered a device that could make all of this possible. It wasn't an easy task. People really respond to these kind of story arcs. And then we kind of answer all of their questions over here. There are a couple of other choices over here that I think is important to mention. One is that today it says get NeuroMD 50% off, but instead of just showing the price, we're actually showing what the price would have been. Over here, notice that we've canceled out 14 and 30 and set 60-day return policy, again, to dramatize this point. And then over says why 60 days, we actually explain it. Explaining your return policy and kind of converting it into a conversion marketing tool is so effective and so important. And I want to actually just end with this idea. This is a really important kind of technique. So what happens is that the consumer is expecting us to market to them, right? That we're marketers, we're going to try to push the sale. So we do just the opposite. So we do the opposite by saying in today's world, there's so much pressure to act now, buy now. But we recognize that finding the right product to treat your lower back pain is a serious decision that requires more than just a few minutes of thought. Don't worry, we'll still be here when you're ready. So what we've done here is that instead of pushing the sale, we're doing the opposite, which is we're saying don't rush the purchase. And this takes the pressure away from the buyer, because the mind of the buyer is saying that, I'm being kind of nudged to make a sale, which then the mind kind of wants to rebel against. But by being upfront and saying that we actually don't need you to rush, you're taking the pressure away. Now the buyer has more of an incentive to actually buy this right now. So I hope this helped, and I hope do continue reading the copy that we have below. There's a lot more context there. This is a short video. Thanks.